live, you are live.
Good morning everybody, and welcome to the cloudy northeast corner of South Africa. Just over to the sort of northern side of us, there's some guinea fowl shouting. They're very upset. And Chris Rogue and Marilyn, you said that you heard lions roaring around here about 10 minutes ago at about 10 to 5:50, 10 to 6. I can't see any lions at the moment, but you can see that it is still pretty dark, and those guinea fowl are very upset about something over there. You can hear them going. That is an alarm call of some sort, so they've definitely seen something irritating them. I did hear lions myself further off to the north, way up to the north, sort of well off this reserve, sometime during the course of the night. Anyway, we'll have a squiz around here and see what we can find. You're on a live safari. My name is James Henry. On camera today Jean-Andre, there we go, that's his thumb. In the final control, we have Geraldine Cheesecake Kent being ably assisted, I think, by Louise today, if I'm not mistaken. It could also be Rebecca. It's Rebecca. I can never get that straight. And then on the other vehicle is Samuel Chevalier, and he's being filmed by David. They are shortly to be out, also probably heading down towards Karula, where she had her kill and her 2 babies yesterday. What a delightful Mother's Day gift she gave us yesterday by being so confiding with her 2 little youngsters. We're going to drive around here, see what we can find, and then we'll probably make our way down towards where the leopard was yesterday, give Sam a hand. He hasn't spent much time with those cubs, so he's going to try and spend some time with them this morning. Hopefully they're still there. They might have disappeared somewhere else during the course of the night. That kill was on the ground, so whether or not Karula hoisted it, whether or not she hoisted it, I don't know. But if she did hoist it, then no doubt they will be in the same place. Let us hope for a good hoosting this morning, Jean-Ray. Don't you think? You are on a live safari, like I say, so please talk to us. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions at WildEarthTV if you want to talk to us on the email. Now, we're going to drive around to where those guinea fowl are shouting and see if we can't find something. Around about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, there was a huge amount of conflagration going on. There were kudu alarm calling, there were monkeys shouting, and we came driving down here, and then we heard squirrels shouting, and we didn't find anything. So I don't know, maybe there is a predator that's around here. There's no one in the lodge at the moment, so we can drive up past the final control. And we'll have a look-see there. There's something else I wanted to tell you. Oh yes, it's 19 degrees Celsius, so it's not cold at all. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit. And so it is cloudy, but it's not cold. And I think the clouds have sort of held in what little heat there was yesterday. It turned into the most spectacular afternoon yesterday, and we had gorgeous light and equally gorgeous prince and princess leopards. Oh, I also caused a small conflagration yesterday by referring to the little male leopard as George, because I've suggested that we call them George and Charlotte after the prince and princess. These are not official names, everybody, please don't worry. The names will be chosen by the rangers here at some stage. They have not been chosen yet. So when I refer to George and Charlotte, I'm just being silly. I don't want to get myself in trouble. If it comes out that I have taken it upon myself to name those cubs, there will be great conflagration around in the area. The naming of leopards is a deeply touchy subject out here. Not that it makes the slightest iota of difference to any leopard that I've ever known. But we're people, and we are funny old things. Now, it's around here there was alarm calling. I don't see anything here, and I think there may have been more in the way of other animal alarm calls as well. Our Siberia Zumi, an experienced Zumi, to whom we are very grateful for the effort that is put into moving the camera around. You say, and listening, you reckon that the lions didn't sound like they were close to the camp, but maybe off to the east, maybe around Buffelshoek? Well, that was where we were sort of going to head, so I think we'll do that almost immediately. Good idea. Righty, we'll go up the sort of western side of the camp, and then up towards Buffelshoek Dam and Buffelshoek. We're just going past the final control where you'll be able to greet Geraldine and Rebecca. So when I say now, everybody look left and wave. And now. There we are. There they are. Jerry says hello. Rebecca apparently is still asleep. What we're going to do tomorrow on Bushwalk, I know many of you have asked to go into the final control, and they've been oohing and ahhing, especially about when to do it, and you know, they don't look so good in the morning. And tomorrow's Bushwalk will begin in the final control, so you can have a look exactly what's going on. I've there now committed them on behalf of everybody, and so now we have to do it. There's a, what is that? This is a young nyala. It is a young nyala. Young nyala bull walking across the clearings. Always good to just stop and have a little listen before continuing. He looks distinctly unalarmed by the state of affairs this dawn. So I think we'll probably continue. He's got a friend in front of him, Gendre. You see that? They're friends. A young teenage romance going on there. Doesn't that fill your heart with warmth, Gendre? Remind you of a time when you were young and carefree?
Butterflies in my stomach.
Exactly. Yes. Saying ridiculously gormless things. She thinking, what an idiot. Certainly that's how it was for me. I'm not sure. I mean, you're obviously much smoother than I am.
Quite so.
Also didn't help, by the time I was a teenager, I still looked like I was 6 years old. But luckily for that, Nyala, he does look like a 15-year-old. I mean, in human years. In Nyala years, he's about 2.5. Right, so you can hear very little going on, and you find that on cloudy mornings like this, the dawn chorus tends to be fairly subdued. But what you can maybe hear is the sparrows. Toop, toop, toop. They're the first to come out, and then one or two drongos in the background. But the doves, who are the main sort of drivers of the dawn chorus, the big string section out here, they are silent. And I think that's got largely to do with the fact that it is a cloudy morning. Alrighty, Gendre, shall we press on? While we press on, Samuel has managed to get himself going, and he's also found what Jamie found thousands of yesterday, an elephant.
So we are sitting with an elephant this morning. There are clouds above us. It's fairly warm because it's trapping in that heat. We had a great conversation last night around elephants and the importance of the mother elephant in our lives. And now, myself and Dave, and another elephant just popped into screen. And this morning you'll have Dave and Sam Chevalier going out into the bush with you this morning. You'll have Geraldine and Rebecca as directors, and I'm excited to work with you, and hopefully we'll bring you some exciting things this morning. We have hopefully got some exciting plans ahead of us this morning, but that is a great way to start the day with some elephants. To what looks like we just came across one elephant that walked across the road, and I just said, surely that elephant is too small to be on its own, and then all of a sudden the next one popped out. So who knows, there could be a whole herd that we haven't seen yet, that are just behind the bushes here. I'm going to go a little bit closer. They look very comfortable at the moment, so we'll just go a little closer. As you can see, Elvis Daly's with us this morning. I really enjoyed that chat that we had last night. It's always nice to talk about the role of the mother in our lives, and it got me thinking lots about all of those moments I've had in my life with mothers. Beautiful. Look at you this morning. Welcome to the day. Got a slight little spit of rain coming in. Doesn't seem to be too bad, but it's definitely quite prominent. Can you smell that, Dave? Something quite stinky just up ahead. Not sure what that could be. It looks like they're off browsing for the morning to see what foliage they might be able to come across. So that's how morning started, with some elephants. We are now on Weaver's Nest Road. I was told that you just saw some nyalas with James talking about young love. That's quite funny. I'm always surprised at how James can have such a great humour at 5 in the morning. There's a few more down there. We can't quite see them at the moment. Let me try and get into a position where we can. There we go. Yo, I'm going to reverse and they might just come through past us, which will be incredible. For now, let's just have a look at them. Beautiful breeding herd of elephants in the morning. Great way to start your Monday morning. Looks like that youngster could be suckling. Or just playing. Sometimes you find elephants just playing at the back. This way, playing at the back of other elephants. That elephant seemed to wait. There's a small one. Wow, there's a very, very small elephant in there. I'm going to reverse, just so that we might be able to get a view of them coming straight towards us, which would be fantastic. As long as we... Okay, so if we sit still for a little bit... Oh, there's an elephant over there. So we've got one elephant there. Grazing now, eating some of the grasses. And the rain is starting to come down quite significantly now. A little bit harder. Gonna listen. Here comes the elephants to our right. Start viewing them here. You can just hear them. Listen to the sound of these elephants in the morning and the trees shaking. You can just see them here, but there's all those trees in the way, and we're gonna get the beautiful shots of them coming closer and closer. So it's great that we are getting a few drips of rain this morning, as we will need it over the dry winter months that are to come in just a few weeks. You can already see some of the autumnness coming out. Oh, here come the elephants. It's very cool to wake up to this. Just gonna... Ooh. So it is coming down quite a lot stronger now. cool to be out here. This might just bring on the insects. So we'll have a morning of elephants and potentially some lovely insects that come out because of the rain. See how strong they can be. They break off. And last night we were chatting about how the mother will move the herd in certain directions and the responsibility and the role that she plays. Making sure that the herd is able to find the adequate amount of resources. Oh, here's a very young one. Hello. And all the young females within this group will be learning from that matriarch so that they too can one day lead a herd. It's very cool to watch as we start our morning. So it seems that this is a rather large herd. As I can, in the distance, see a big elephant also coming. But this young one is very, very sweet as it uses its trunk. I'm going to be silent now just as we watch these elephants as they move past us. Look how close they've got to us now. You can see that this female's tusks are different sizes. Look how she chews on that grass. She's eating from the buffalo thorn here. That's quite a short-looking tusk as we can observe. So we can quite clearly see the size comparison between the mother and the baby. And it is just so awesome to sit here and listen to them break off these branches and suckle. Sometimes you just don't need words for these kind of sightings. Observing them and their behavior, it's just incredible. Look how strong and powerful they are to be able to break some of these branches. And even have a look at this little youngster. Sweet. Hello. So we are in the middle of a huge breeding herd of elephants. This is really, really cool to see this, and we've observed the youngster suckling as well as feeding on the tree, which was interesting to see. They are all around us. I can't explain how incredible this is. Kyle, you observed that the elephants are very, very peaceful and that you love it. Kyle, I couldn't agree more. In these situations, I just want to be quiet and listen to them and experience them. Very, very docile. You see, they're eating the buffalo thorn, so it's actually got quite a hook in the branch itself. So they're able to eat all types of leaves that don't have any thorns in it, and leaves that have significant thorns in it. So if you actually get a look at that. Wow, this is so cool to be sitting in the middle of this herd. We were very lucky to just get here in time. Have a look at the suckle marks on the female. You can just see them now. She walks away. So she's going to be looking after youngsters. And this looks like a little teenager over here. Look at all that brown dirt on their bottom. So I think this could be the rear end of the herd that we are seeing now. I can't see any more elephants coming in from the west of us. I can just see them here. So we can see them now heading off down towards Twin Dams. So we're reported on the radio. Stations, large breeding herd of elephants heading in a easterly direction across Weaver's Nest Road, about 100 meters from the junction of Gowrie Man. Go ahead, Mike. Mike, I'm on my way to that sighting. I just came across Weaver's Nest and bumped into a huge herd of elephants. And so I'll make my way to that position now. What's your position? Copy, Mike. The whole herd is now heading in that easterly direction across Weaver's Nest, so they'll probably be going down to Twin Dams. Copy, I'll let you know when I'm done. Oh, wow, what a cool sighting that was. To be in and amongst a breeding herd of elephants, as Carl said, is a very, very peaceful and docile experience. So, I wonder if it's going to be raining on our side. But I know we've got rain covers here, so we'll be able to cover ourselves up if it does begin to rain quite profusely. There goes that amazing breeding herd of elephants. What an experience, okay? It's not even like, it's about 6:10 in the morning and we've sat with about 40 elephants. There's the last one over here. Beautiful. Cheers, guys. William in Oregon is asking, well, notice that one of the females had extremely long eyelashes, and is there any purpose for them? Oh, William, I think much like we have eyelashes on our eyes to protect us from, please excuse this horrible squeaky sound that's coming out of Rusty. Rusty's not going through the best of times, as you can quite clearly hear. But William, much like we have eyelashes on our eyes to protect us from the rain and protect us from the dust and all sorts of things coming into the vehicle, I think the elephants also have that. So they're often grazing and on big branches, as you saw now, and those eyelashes help to be an extra form of protection before it goes into the eye. So that would be my answer, William. There could be another purpose, but I think it's purely out of protection. So we've had such an amazing sighting with those elephants, and I'd love to talk more about them a bit later, because I prefer to be silent during that sighting and to really experience the elephants as well as you can as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about them later, but for now let's go and see how James is doing on the other side of Djuma.
That form and find the little baby leopard cubs. We are easing our way along the Bivelshoek cut line, and as you can see, I've been wetted slightly by some drizzle that is coming out of the sky. This is quite nice for the bush, of course, being a very dry spot. I don't think it can qualify quite as rain yet, but certainly there is a bit of drizzle coming out of my mouth, the drizzle coming out of the sky at the moment, and that's quite nice. Animal-wise, Chandra, we've seen nothing at all. No. So hopefully our luck will improve. No tracks of any lions going to and from here, so let's go to Bivelshoek Dam, as Siberia Zumi suggested, also because we know that the pregnant lioness was been there, and Sam had a very, very strong premonition that perhaps she gave birth yesterday, not on account of it being Mother's Day, but sort of by coincidence of it being Mother's Day yesterday. And she's been lying around Bivelshoek Dam looking very uncomfortably pregnant for some time. I thought she would have given birth sort of 2 days or so after she left the pride, but she seems to be hanging around there on her own, still uncomfortably big and fat, and hasn't given birth yet. She might have given birth yesterday, but we'll go and have a look. Now just remember, if she has given birth, we're not going to go sort of frolicking about for the newborn cubs. Often lions do move them though, and because lions are so confident, they will often move their cubs in front of vehicles. So, you know, you get those classic pictures of lionesses moving, walking with a cub in their mouths, and then they kind of take them to another spot. So we might be lucky with that sort of view, but we wouldn't actively go and search for her right just yet if we knew she had cubs. Also on account of the fact that there is nothing quite so terrifying in the world than being charged by an angry lioness who thinks you want to come and take her babies from her. In fact, it is a blood-curdling, bone-chilling experience. And Anna Marie, you reckon that this overcast weather is very good for spotting lions? Well, I hope so. You have a good feeling. That's very good news. I don't have a particular premonition at this stage, but I'm hoping for some lions. I'm also hoping that the dear Queen has hoisted her impala and is still sitting where she was yesterday. Sam will be there very shortly to be able to tell us. Right, the Arathusa Dam is just down here, so let's keep an eye out all around here, under the bushes, on the road, and we'll see if we can spot a lioness. Or indeed a male lion would do, don't you think, Andre? A male leopard would do as well, really. Plenty of buffalo tracks around here. Plenty of water buck tracks. So there's been activity at the dam. There was also, Jamie tried to get here about 7 or 8 times yesterday evening, but there were elephants everywhere she looked. And so it's quite possible that the elephants would have sort of chased her into the thick bush. Hippo tracks going towards the water. It's all happening out here, it's all happening. The water, you can see here that the landscape moves down towards where the dam is. Hello, Lucy. What a nice question. You obviously listen to the dam cam a lot. And you say with all the rutting of the impala going on, that loud roaring, snorting noise that they make at each other, do we ever get woken up by it during the course of the night? Lucy, I don't. I find that I'm very little will wake me up in the course of the night, so I think that's more a function of me than it is anyone else. John, have they woken you up?
Just your snoring.
Just my snoring. Right. There is a hippopotamus, Jandre. That's very good, Jandre. That's the first time you've got in the first insult. We'll see who gets in the last. Lucy, our camp is also in a sort of courtyard, and so much of the sound of the night actually doesn't filter into it. But yes, there have been incidents in various parts of the bush where I've lived that there has been noise of impala all through the night. And now, of course, is when they're actually mating. They're not just rutting at the moment. So there is a hippopotamus. Nice to see him here at Buffelshoek Dam. It might be Bob, the old bachelor of Buffelshoek. And what we're going to do is just scan the general vicinity for the tawny, well-camouflaged shape of a lioness, which I unsurprisingly do not see. I say unsurprisingly, as I think I used every piece of luck I ever had yesterday with the most incredible leopard sighting. Just listening now, you can hear the doves have suddenly come to life. This hippopotamus, of course, is not alone. This is Andre. He has the water version of the oxpecker on him. See that? And that, of course, is a serrated, hinged terrapin. The terrapin that lives in these large bodies of water. And he's just hoping for a few rays of sun. And of course there are no rays of sun yet, and I'm not sure that there are going to be any today. A terrapin, of course, is what we call ectothermic, traditionally sort of cold-blooded, which means that in order for his sort of metabolism to work as effectively as possible, he needs to try and get some warmth from the outside world. And so that's why I suspect the hippopotamus is a good place for him to sit, because he will be able to absorb some of the hippopotamus's warmth. And the hippo, of course, is a mammal, and so will maintain a body temperature somewhere between 36 and 40 degrees. That's quite a clever strategy, actually, if you're a terrapin. I imagine it must be like having something sort of walking over your back and tickling you, don't you think, Andre? Sometimes when the flies get really bad, I give up worrying about them and just sort of pretend that they are, sort of a sophisticated method of tickling that has been provided. Look at this tickling. Yellow red-billed hornbill has flown right in here and landed right next to us. I saw him coming from miles away. I didn't think he'd land here. Isn't that nice? Sorry, I did my jacket up, everybody, during the course of the rain, and that has muffled my microphone. That should be better. There we are. And there's some Birchall's starlings in the same tree. Well, one Birchall's starling in the same tree. You can hear a white-browed scrub robin off to the side. It's so peaceful here. Elaine, a nice one from you, and I think it depends very much on the animal. So it's cooler today than it might be. Well, it's not. It's not cooler than it would have been on a less cloudy day. It's quite a lot warmer. It's probably about 5 degrees warmer, but it's going to stay probably around this temperature for the course of the day. And Elaine, your question is that going to make a difference to the behavior of the animals? Will they be slightly less lethargic than they would be otherwise? And the answer is probably yes for leopards and lions and possibly the hyenas as well. But for the rest of the animals, you'll find, for example, buffalo will huddle in weather like this. So normally on an early cool morning, they'd go off and try and find something to eat. And then during the heat of the day, they'll huddle together. At least not huddle together, they'll lie down in the shade. But in the coolth of a day like this, they will lie together. They'll sort of cuddle up. And so while the morning feels warmer, the rest of the day will feel chilly. And I think you'll find that the animals are, while not lethargic, are certainly not that mobile. They don't move around a great deal more, but the cats will perhaps a little bit more, especially the leopards. Leopards like to hunt in the day if they can, They're not averse to a daytime hunt. And I've always kind of got the impression that if they could, they would be diurnal. But because they're quite large, it's just easier for them to hunt during the night. Alrighty, let's just pop around to the other side of the waterhole, see what we can find there. This hippopotamus is not doing a huge amount of active stuff. As you can see there, Elaine, not doing a great deal. Hippo, on a day like this, may well be found outside. Right, Sam is looking for Karula. Let's go across there and get an update from him as to what's going on. I don't think he's found her just yet.
Well, so we're at the last place where Karula was seen with her cubs, and I'm just looking at tracks now. It doesn't look like she's here Myself and Dave have had a look, but we're just going to go back and see if we can find if any tracks have passed or crossed over out over Gowrie Main. So we're just looking for some tracks. She was last seen up here where all the vehicle tracks go off here. So we're just going to go slowly and see maybe if we can see something in there. The chances are, you know, Karula did make a kill and leave it on the floor. So she either hoisted it or something has taken it and she took her cubs away. So let's just have a look. Can you see any tracks just on the side there, Dave? Nothing there, huh? So there doesn't seem to be any tracks. We'll just go further on to see if we can find any other tracks that might have walked up the road. But this is where all the vehicle tracks are, and most likely where Karula was. We were here yesterday, and there's something about it that sparks my memory. But of course, the biggest memory is Karula herself feeding on an impala. So we'll slowly go forward to see if we can find some tracks, and actually just make sure that we didn't go to the wrong place. There's some more tracks going off-road here, potentially.
Hyena?
Huh?
Hyena up ahead.
There's a hyena up ahead. Let's go and have a look at what that hyena is doing. I'll spot it, Dave. So there's more track marks here. Let's try and spot where that hyena just left to. Where did that hyena go?
Just up ahead.
There. So I just saw him go out into the thicket there. Just spotted him, so he's probably got there. You can just see his back there and his tail move. Up to the top left now. Left now. And up. Up, up. Okay, it was in that little hole there. So he's just gone. That's interesting. Why was there a hyena? If there was a hyena here, very well something could have happened last night. And he's moving in that direction, so potentially something's just around the corner there. I'm just going to investigate the scene over here because there is some track marks that are leading off here. So that potentially could have been the spot where Karula came off. I'm just going to look to see in the distance if there are any track marks on the road. Doesn't seem like there is. I really hope she's okay wherever she is with her cubs. Seeing a hyena does worry me though. I'm not going to go off into that thicket to go and see what that hyena was doing until we can confirm that there's nothing over here. But it's a very good chance that the hyenas have dragged that impala kill just on the back there and are slowly feeding on it. Just move it a little bit forward just to see if we can see something. Doesn't look like we can see anything at the moment. I can tell you that if Karula was here and she saw that hyena that just jumped through the road there, she would have definitely reacted to that. Either try to climb the tree with her kill, get her cubs out the way, or she's just not here anymore. So a whole night's we've just been through a whole night. So anything could have happened over the 12 hours that we were sleeping. Can't notice anything out here in the brush. Very curious to go and see what that hyena was doing though. Here's some more vehicle tracks. So this must have been, if you can see here, the tracks are here. The tracks lead here, so my feeling is that this is where she was. And now I'm just trying to determine whether there's any sign of a kill around this area. There's definitely no smell of one. And those hyenas have the most incredible scent. They could smell things that have died from distances away. So I'm not surprised that that hyena, what we just saw was a hyena. So let's just go to James quickly while we search for this tortoise.
I see her.
What do you see?
Karula.
There's Karula, well spotted, Dave. There goes Karula off into the distance there. So we've just found her. Where's she going? What's going on? Well done. Okay, so Karula is around. Well done. Okay, we're going to very slowly go around. She looks like she's gone in the direction of that hyena. This makes me quite nervous. I'm going to turn around and see if we can get another spot. I know exactly which way she would have gone. Well done, Dave. Good spot there, my man. So she's there somewhere. I'm just going to get back onto the side of the road here. This is very interesting behavior that we are seeing. Much different scene unfolding this morning than what we had yesterday with those beautiful cubs just playing in the tree. Which I still haven't had a good visual of, those beautiful cubs. But rather than going bashing into there, so my feeling is that I'm getting at the moment is that we need to stay here. So when I say feelings of nervousness, what I mean is the feelings of not going into the bush and evading the situation, whatever is going on in there. That is my feeling. So we're just going to sit here and kind of see if we can find Karula or the hyena from this distance rather than going bashing in there. Because we don't want to be that obtrusive and give her position away by following her into that thicket. So we'll just sit here and maybe just hope that something might happen. Well, not something might happen, that she might come out of that thicket safely. Hopefully she's up a tree somewhere down there. Go very, very slowly. Can't see anything for the time being. So she just slinked off into the distance there, but she wasn't going slowly as if she was relaxed. Did you notice that, Dave?
Yeah.
That she moved quite quickly into that thicket. Can't see her through this distance. I'm just looking for that beautiful color of the spotted leopard. Dave, you just got a lot of congratulations for your spotting skills. Well done, Dave. So we're just going to link through to James while we see if we can find anything coming out of the brush here. Let's go and see how James is doing. I think he's with the tortoise.
We've come around and twisted around Bivelshoek Dam and found no sign of the lioness. I am reticent to go wandering into the bush here without some sort of concrete tracks. So I think we'll just drive around a little bit more and then head towards Cheetah cut line. And I believe Sam linked to our tortoise, which I'm afraid has moved off. Despite their seeming incapability of moving with any speed, the tortoise we were watching did move away with some speed. It was a Speaks Hinge tortoise, and it's just come, and the only reason we've seen it is because of the moisture in the air, and I've no doubt it's emerged from a termite mound where they live. They sort of burrow into termite mounds and then go dormant. And they estivate there while there's no water, and then when the water comes, they kind of reverse out of the termite mounds and they go off. And I think that's precisely what that little chap was seen on Torchwood, which of course we can't go into, but that may have been what was calling. It's the male and the female who seem to be mating at the moment. I don't know that they would have been calling, so I don't know who was, but it could have been, it could have been the rest of the Nkuhumas, it could have been one or two of the Birminghams coming through here, who knows. I don't think that lioness who was about to give birth would have been calling either. So we'll do one more turn past the dam and then head off to the eastern cut line, Cheetah cut line, and see perhaps if there aren't any tracks over there. Very nice that you saw the leopard. I do hope that she's managing to defend her cubs, if that's what she's trying to do. I think they're going to be just fine though. But we'll keep you posted as to what's going on there. There's a Franklin, Andre. See how it's lain down in the ground there? It knows we've spotted it, you see, so it's lain down, flattened itself against the ground. Beautifully camouflaged. That is the crested Franklin, and look at the detail on the feathers. Little eye watching us. Not sure what we want. It does have really beautiful detail in its feathers. And that's one of the first birds you'll hear singing in the morning. Quite a loud, strident call. In the distance, very pleasant though. This bird and the grey-headed sparrow are the first risers. I think this is a young one, otherwise it would have moved off, but it's frozen in the same manner that a steenbok freezes if it thinks it's been spotted. Now seems to be slightly assessing that we're not a threat, so thinking about going off to find some insect or grass seeds to eat. They will eat grass seeds largely if they can, but this time of the year, of course, grass seeds, even insects, are in slightly short supply, so they'll basically eat anything that will give them nutrition at this stage. They'll especially be fond of fossicking about in elephant dung, where there could be termites. Now, Jean, is this the best crested Franklin sighting you've ever had in your life?
No.
Not? You've had a better one than this? No. Okay, well, I think it's quite a nice crested Franklin sighting. Andre came out this morning, everybody, and said that he had been preparing a number of insults because he feels that when he comes on drive with me, I'm quite nasty to him. Well, he's certainly done very well so far. He has 2 insults to 0. It's early days yet. It's early days. A very nice question from you.
Welcome back, everyone. The rain's starting to come down a little bit more. Karula's gone into the thicket here. Looks like they've just seen something. Hold on 1 second, we're going to reverse. We've got another team out here. We're not going into this thicket at all. We're just going to sit on the periphery and have a look to see what we might find within it. We're starting to experience far too much rain right now, so we're going to have to cover up from the rain. So I'll just get hold of Geraldine, if you copy. We're getting way too much rain at the moment. Let's put a cover on. We're going to have to close up the camera now as the rain is coming down. So potentially she's in there just while we wait for a link to get back to James. We're just covering over our camera over here because the rain is starting to come down quite heavily. Dave is standing over his camera. Hopefully. So we're actually experiencing a lot of rain, so we're just going to have to go into a rain delay and hopefully come back to you in a couple of minutes, half an hour or so. We'll let you know when we're back on air. At the moment the rain's coming down, and this is a good thing actually, because now we're going to have a little bit of water to our dry lands. So we'll see you just now.